like, hey, want to go mug my old boss? And Sean's just like, yeah, sure, I'll mug someone. Like, it's so nonchalant, like no hesitation, didn't even like did not care at all.
Fine.
Wait,
Yeah.
Pete's friend Sean?
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
yeah, I started recording this, by the way. But
Okay.
yeah, no, so the guy was like a nutcase, and he would just like flip out at the littlest thing. So eventually, like, I tried quitting one day. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna go to another advisor. You clearly like have too much to handle. And so I was literally in his office for 3 hours, and he was like, trying to convince me so hard to stay. He did not want me to go. I was shocked because I was like,
Yeah, because he treats you like shit. Like, what the
yeah,
hell?
well, he treats everybody like crap, and I just thought that's how it was for doctorate. I didn't know there was like normal professors. So I thought that's how it was. But eventually I got
That's
so
so
fed up with it.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I know, right? I got so fed up with it though, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm done. So I just like told him, look, I'm getting a new advisor. Like, I'm not taking this anymore. And he like literally was like trying to convince me, like begging me to stay for 2 hours. I'm not even kidding, 2 or 3 hours. Like, I was in his office. I'm like, holy crap. I thought it was just going to be like, I quit, like, I'm done. Grab my stuff and gone. So
Yeah.
he basically says, oh, I just say some things just to motivate you guys. And I'm like, what? Like, and he's like, look, I promise you'll get your doctorate. Like, I promise you'll get out of here as soon as possible. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. All right. Like, let's do that. So
did he apologize for being a psycho at all, or no?
Yeah, and he just said like, "Oh, I'm sorry,
Cycle of
I didn't mean
abuse.
it to be that bad." And so like
Yeah, right.
a week and like 2 weeks go by, and he just like calls me in his office. I'm like, "What?" And I guess like I sent him some email or some paper or something, and literally the period was off by like a space. So angry about it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done. So I was like so pissed, and so eventually I was like, one of the reasons I couldn't really quit is crazy Pop is, and he blamed me for the situation and not the guy, because that's how Pop is. So I was like, you know what? Like, I better tell Pop I'm quitting first before he just finds out and thinks I'm like gonna like not get a job or something. Because Pop was convinced for years I was just gonna become a druggie and just not have a job. And
yeah,
so
of course. Like, we all are.
Yeah, I told Pop. Well, every time I come home, are you still working at, I'm not going to say my job. Do you still work at that company? I'm like, yes. Like, oh, so you got a full-time position? I'm like, yeah. Like, why do you think I'm going to like quit or something? Like, God. But, so I go home and I'm like telling him, and at first he's like blaming me. He's like, well, could you improve your work? Like, is there anything, blah, blah, blah. So then I start telling him like what he was saying. Like, he was like shocked that I went to Ignatius and all this other stuff. Pop got so mad, so he was getting in his car. And I was like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to your professor. I was like, oh shoot, like, all right. I'm like, all right, well.
The bad thing about that is though, like the next day Pop will blame you. It'll be a complete 180.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
No, that is kind of what happened. I'm trying to think. So I was so sick of this guy. So I went in the next day. I'm like, look, I'm out of here. You clearly have some issues. And I'm just like, I'm not going to care about a doctor anymore. I'm just quitting. I'm going to get my master's. And so I'm done. And so, of course, he was like apologizing profusely. And because here's the thing, like 4 months before that, he got sued by another guy who was in our lab and for harassment.
It's
and
nuts.
so, yeah.
You should have sued him. I mean, like, come on, he messed with your PhD.
It's fine. I honestly don't care. I think a PhD, it may be.
Well, you know, Mitch's dad was telling me at his company they have an aerospace engineering division, and they get bonuses in the six figures. I don't know if a PhD would have changed whatever, like your hiring ability there.
Mm-hmm. Not what I saw.
Yeah.
What I know is like if you get a doctorate, you're either going to go to academia or if you go to industry, it's going to be some specialized field and you'll be making some decent money. But I didn't even like really what I was doing. It was like on journal bearings. It was just boring stuff. So I wasn't. I would have gotten it if I had a regular, like a normal guy. I would have gotten it, but like I was just getting so mad. And
I remember you and I talked about it like before. I remember at the time being like, dude, that guy's so nuts. Like, you never quit.
So like 4 months.
Life's not worth that.
Dude, 4 months before that, so this guy named was Art. So my professor was from Poland, right? That's where he's like born. So this other guy from Poland, he was like 33 at the time. He's getting his postdoctorate, and he's in our lab for a couple of months. He's in our lab for supposed to be a year. It lasted 4 months. And at first it was like really great. He was like, his name was Arthur. He was like really happy or whatever. And then like as the weeks went by, like you could just tell he was just like worse and worse. And so one day
psychological toll.
It was crazy. So one day I go in, I just look at this email. It's from Arthur, and it's sent to everybody, including like the head of engineering, like all this stuff. He basically just rips into my professor, like rips into him about how bad of a person he is and how he like yell at him all the time and all this other stuff. Like he's just sick of it. He's suing. He was trying to sue for like 10 grand or something.
Dude, he said, I mean, you got to ask for more than you even think you're going to get. I would have asked for more than that. I would have asked for the cost of finishing like a PhD otherwise, like a ton of stuff.
Dude, it was, I'm glad I got out of there. But like, I don't know. Thinking back, a doctorate is such a waste of time. Unless you are really into the field. I was going to say, unless you're really into the field and it gives you so much more of a like paycheck that it makes a clear difference from the get-go. Like, I don't know. I feel like school in general, that's exactly how I feel, because you can educate yourself about anything. You can literally become an expert with just application, so school is a fucking waste of time. That's all I was doing, because my professor sure as heck wasn't doing anything for me. He certainly wasn't trying to help me. Like, all you'd have to do is if you have access to journal articles, which usually you have to be in a school, it's part of the funding goes to, like, journal articles.
Yeah, but you could, I mean, look, if you would have taken a fucking loan out, a personal loan, you would have been able to get all of that and more just, like, by yourself.
Yeah.
And then way less than that.
Also, Google Scholar has free articles everywhere. Just ask somebody, like a local library.
Coursera has some good stuff. I mean, like, it's just...
Dude, college is really... Part of me thinks it's a waste. The only reason it's not a waste of time is just to get that piece of paper that says you can get a job.
Dude, and networking. I swear to God, like, the older I get, the more I realize everything is who you know, not what you know. I've met the dumbest people who should never have gotten the jobs that they have. They literally just get them because they know someone or their family member knows someone.
How much has knowing people from your college helped you in your career right now?
Well, it's not knowing people from my college, because John Carroll it's tiny and not that many people are doing anything that crazy. Some people maybe, but it's more like just people I meet, from other ventures. And I wish that, like, if I were to have done it again, I would have tried to go to an Ivy League, because mom and pop didn't make enough money, so I would have been able to go for free like you did. And then I wish I would have just applied myself. I mean, like, I think the diploma really does mean a lot. Like, there's a lot of things I've noticed in the world where you can't even get into the doors without, like, that pedigree. But then knowing someone else is just, like, what actually gets you.
I mean, ideally, an outside company or some organization would make, like, a certification program where you can get a degree by taking like certain tests, and it doesn't matter how you learn the knowledge, you can learn it on your own time, but as long as you like pass the tests, then you'd get that same certification as the college degree is worth.
They used to, so it's all a racket, because for law, you used to be able to do the bar without having to even have gone to law school. So if you recall the movie Catch Me If You Can, the guy who, the real guy, who the character is based on, he actually just took the bar and passed it.
That's pretty
even
nuts.
Though he never went to law school. Yeah, I mean, he's just very intelligent. And you know what's crazy about that? Now that we talk about intelligence has multifacets, they say. Like, there's athletic acuity is one of the facets of intelligence. This guy was like probably pure memorization. So we call it intelligence, but really what he's able to do is categorize things in his brain in a way that makes him able to bring them back up better than most people.
Was the test as hard back then, though, when you took it?
I don't know. I don't know like what the bar was like. I think it was probably the 80s. Like I'm not sure what time frame that took place in.
What was the reason that they said that you have to go to law school to take it now?
Probably because law school is a fucking racket. It's basically a corporation. Like, you know, all schools are now businesses. So it's probably like people just wanting to make sure that their accreditations and things like that are counting for something.
Right. Usually they have some surface reason, even if it's terrible, like it's still for people to see.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I agree with you. I don't know what the surface reason is here.
Let me look it up, actually.
Dude.
I don't know about like medical degrees. I feel like that would be a little scary. But I mean, you'd probably have to do applied tests, you know? Like,
yeah. For law school, can you even do an applied test? I guess you can go to.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you just read documents, so.
Well, have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny? So the guy in that was an attorney, he just straight up lied about his experience. And so the judge kept looking him up and he would just keep lying about it. I mean, I feel like back in the day, and not even that long ago, it was way easier to be a bank robber, way easier to lie about your profession, way easier to just like swindle people.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to really look it up.
Being a bank robber now would be so hard.
Well, unless you're really good at hacking, I feel like you could probably get away with it pretty good. If you can like
hacking, you could be a bank robber from your like home. I feel
That's
like.
True. That's true.
If you're good enough.
Can't make movies on that stuff anymore though. Modern day movies.
Dude, I'm trying to think of another. I worked at Home Depot for this one summer, and it was one of the funnest jobs I had.
Wait, I remember because they didn't want to hire you, and I guarantee it was because they knew you weren't going to stay long. But Mom was like personally offended.
They had no idea.
At Home Depot.
They didn't know I was going to stay short. They just like wouldn't call me back, and I kept calling because Pop was such a psycho. So like, it was that one summer when Pop was like at the peak of his like craziness, and so I was like, he kept saying, "You gotta call, like you're not trying hard enough." I'm like, isn't it, what else can I possibly do? Like, fine.
Yeah, like
so
I'm calling every day. They don't want to hire me.
Yeah. So this is what happened. So I was applying there, and they said they were gonna call me back. So I called like a couple days later. I'm like, yeah, like just want an update. And they're like, oh well, we're still going through the process. We'll call you back. So then I tried calling, and again from my same number a couple times, like for a full week, and they would not answer. I'm like, you know what? Like, let me try this. So I did a *67 and I called, and the freaking lady answered. And I was like,
"Are you kidding me?"
No, I was
just avoiding you.
And so I legit was like, hey, like this is John Rogers, and like, oh hey John, like how's it going? I'm like, what the fuck? Like I just tried calling you, but okay. So I guarantee
because that was Cleveland. Cleveland is like I don't even. Cleveland is like a Hey Arnold episode. I say that all the time. But it's like nothing is normal. No one does anything that they're supposed to be doing. They just do things that they have to do them. I mean, like, there's no other place in the world like it, I swear.
Hey, I got
Johnny, you sure it wasn't because when you got interviewed, you had like, your knuckles were all bruised up from when you're practicing Muay Thai?
You know what? That would have been busy.
Kicking trees.
So like, I was pounding those trees and stuff, and like my I didn't realize my hands were bloodied and blistered. Like it looked terrible. It looked like I just got out of like a huge fight with somebody.
Dude, especially in that neighborhood, they probably assumed you did. I would. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. So I was sitting at the table, and she was like, I was getting the interview with the lady, and she left the room for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I had my hands on the desk like this, and I just looked down, and I just see like they're like half it's like bloody. Like I'm like, oh my god. She probably thought I was some nutcase, dude.
Yeah, right. She probably really thought you were, because I mean, like, I don't know, that neighborhood. When I worked at Drug Mart, like, it was with the most deplorable people.
You worked at Drug
Mart? Yeah, when I was in high school. You don't remember that? That was my high school job. That was my first like real job. But I mean, I was like 16, 16 to whatever, like 18 or 17 and a half. And people that would go into that Drug Mart, and then the people that worked there. It was just like, it was almost like Trailer Park Boys. Like all they would do is consider how to scam the system. None of them had any like real aspirations. They're like, I mean, look, I'm not trying to like talk badly about anybody, because that's pretty shitty, but everyone was just really living a life that was strange. I don't know.
That's exactly how the people when I worked at Mark's were. They're always trying to scam the system or like find a cheat code through.
Wait, so what would they do?
Dude.
Well, I mean, like if you would study and stuff too, like sometimes I'd bring my books and try to study at break, they would like laugh at me and make fun of me.
Holy crap.
Like, why would they make fun of you?
Dude, they'd literally, I'd be like actually wanting to do stuff because like I'm getting paid. I'm trying to like do the job that I'm responsible for. And it'd be in the morning and we'd have to unlock the carts and put them in the store. And the one guy who had the key, he'd come out, he had his cup of coffee, sipping it slow. He was taking so long and it was completely on purpose too. He just wanted to like pad his hours. And he was just, he literally said like his philosophy was, if he's not closing, then he just takes as long as he can on things. Cause like if he's closing, he'll have to go home late, but if he's not, then like it doesn't affect him anyway. So he was a funny guy, but that's like how everyone's mentality was basically.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm not gonna lie, I also was a dirtbag at that time in my life. Like there's this girl that was a really good friend of mine when we worked there, and we would clock in for our break and then clock out, right? Or clock out for our break and then wait like 3 minutes, clock back in, and then leave. We would go to her house for like an hour. We would just like take walks like around the neighborhood. For real.
There was just no repercussions for you doing that?
I remember one time we were like caught and they were like, don't do that again. And I don't remember what excuse we made up, but it was a pretty big excuse. I mean, I just didn't, at that point in time, I didn't care. I was like, this is the dumbest job I've ever had in my life.
Dude, it's like, we need our medicine.
No, I worked in the movie section. So people would like bring the movies back in cosmetic section. And of course that drug mart had everything under lock and key. So people would come in and be like, I want to look at lipstick. So I'd have to go let them into the lipstick thing. Otherwise I was like straight snoozing while there. Or like if there was photos too, the photo section, I would always look at people's pictures. That's so bad, but we just
photos of the
so
like people.
Yeah, that they would get developed because we would do picture developing there.
Dude, that's so bad. That's not what you did.
I was 16, like I was a dirtbag. I don't know. I mean, looking back, I would never do that now, but
I was at when I worked at Home Depot, like all the employees hated our boss. They like hated his guts. And actually there was some hardworking guys there. Like there really were. A lot of them just like did what they could. But there was nobody like.
Well, Home Depot, you have to legit know stuff. Like I don't think you could work there if you don't have like a base of knowledge about the store itself.
Well, they lied. The company lied to me anyway when I was getting hired.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they said that it's a part-time job and you're only gonna have to work 4 hours a night, maybe more sometimes. I'm like, okay. It was not sometimes. It was every night, at least 2.5 hours more every night.
Are you serious? And you wouldn't know till you got in there?
Well, after the first 2 days, I sure as heck knew what was going on. And no
I
overtime.
would say no.
No overtime.
I would literally say no. I would be like, I can't. I'm in school.
Dude, no, I had to get out of that house. Papa's so nuts.
Oh,
Wait, when you say no overtime, you got paid, just not extra for overtime?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was technically considered overtime, but it was not extra. And the pay was terrible too. It was like $9.25. It was like $8.25 an hour maybe.
That's like way better than I got at Drug Mart. At Drug Mart, I got like $7 an hour maybe. Like it was terrible.
Oh man.
That's why I was just like, I didn't care about that job. You're gonna pay me nothing and expect what, like company loyalty? Give me a break.
Yeah, it was just funny. I was like one of like the 3 white guys who worked there, and like all these white, we got like a massive debate. It was just like fun, but we get a debate about the Illuminati, and it was right when Robin Williams killed himself. And one of the guys was explaining to me how in the Illuminati, in order to get in, you have to do a movie dressed as a cross-dressing. and that's like part of the.
Is that, but I feel like that's such a conspiracy theory. Wait, can you mute me really quick? This baby just like is going nuts.
Dude. Well, how many actors have done it? Adam Sandler in Jack and Jill, Robin Williams.
Jamie Foxx did it. He used to have like some show.
He did? Is that evidence that your friend brought up for this theory?
No, well, I have no idea. I don't think he had any proof of this theory. I think he just like read it online, thought it was true.
How do people come up with that? Because that doesn't just like pop into your head.
I mean, it could be true. It's like, do you cross-dress in like a movie or TV show and you're set?
Okay, if there's any actor that you could think would be in the Illuminati, who would it be?
Possibly Adam Sandler. Actually, that's pretty. Yeah, and Robin Williams, probably both of those guys.
But he got killed.
Well, he killed himself apparently.
Oh, he killed himself.
Right, but apparently, I don't know if he did or not. Apparently, he didn't. But he was heavily involved with Disney. We all know Disney's part of the Illuminati, probably.
Dude, yeah, like, or even like Kevin Spacey. I would think he would be in the Illuminati. I don't think he ever cross-dressed them.
Well, he was a pedophile though, so he probably got it another way. Hey, busy? I clicked on at you. I asked to unmute. You can't just unmute, so you have to on your end. Click on speak or whatever. But dude, yeah, Kevin Spacey's like a pedo.
Tom Cruise, he never did it.
Yeah, that's true. What about Nick Cage?
He probably wants to get into the Illuminati, but can't.
What?
They're like, yeah, you can't. He seems like he tries really hard. You know, like he would really try hard to get in the in-crowd. I don't know if it's true, but
yeah, I'm shocked.
Maybe I'm just saying that because he overacts so hard.
He sure does in Con Air.
Greatest movie of all time.
Dude, I still just like. Who was that?
In terms of
said that like Con Air is the greatest movie.
It is. In terms of entertainment, undeniably. In terms of actual film quality, it might be up there. It's close.
If I saw that in high school, I think I would have enjoyed it more. It was pretty funny. Don't get me wrong, but it was just weird.
Have you seen Con Air? Oh, she's still muted, I bet.
Yeah, she's still muted.
Dude, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Hold on, I need to pick up this baby. I wanted to join the conversation so bad when you mentioned Nick Cage. He is the grossest person that's ever existed. Con Air is not even that good. I mean, kind of good, but it's only good in spite of Nicolas Cage, not because
the movie
him.
Was terrible, which is why it was good. Because it was so bad.
And then but it was so bad it was good, except he was like, sorry. Dude, having children, it's like, do I even have a life anymore? What a year. Mine have been freaking burned off with crying. Alright, so anyway, dude, she's so fat. Like, anytime she's hungry, which is every 10 minutes, I swear to God, she screams with her entire body until she's fed.